Well, I don't know what to do either. Like, so I just let husbands pick because, like, when you can look like anything, I mean, really, what message do you want to give? When you could look like anyone, when you could look like anything, what is the best look? So I don't know. I've been asking husbands because it's like, well, I could change how I look forever. And, there's like probably 80 looks or so that would be kind of influencing in a good way or amazing based on situations. So let's just say that you're around the children of God in a business situation and you're creating brand new internet realities. So you're creating a brand new internet reality with a bunch of really cool experts and a husband who's a businessy expert. And you're a god and you want to pick out what you would look like. Well, I would say the smartest, untouchable, business overloaded look. But a husband might say, no. The best thing to be is like the biggest entrepreneurial Pippi Longstocking. The best thing is to prove you're weird, you're radical, you're different, you're out there, but so smart, so untouchable, you can create anything. That's the wave of the reality of influencing the children of God. And another dad might say, well, no, I'm the husband of God. I know this. Children of God want a serious, professional, powerful giant. But maybe a silly, radical, creativity overloaded parent. But because every child is different. So what are we going to do? You're going to group them into groups while you create products. That wouldn't probably be a good idea because we're just creating all the product together. See, as a god, am I smart enough to know whether my husband would want me to look like a cartoon more than a paper person, more than a psychic elder, more than an angel? Yeah, but I let them pick because it makes their little brain say, well, I'm God's dad. So if I'm God's dad and I want Bonnie to show up, what would be the best wife out of my dreams, best for the children of God when I walk around with her or near her? What would be the best wife look I would like at my businesses or in my life day to day that I feel would help or influence everybody the most? And that's what I'm trying to get them to do, is start living like God's dad. Because do I already know how to turn into what anything could dream? Well, yeah, I'm the creator of everything. But that's not really how it works. And I don't need to figure out who I am. I'm trying to help the husbands to learn how to be actually God's daddy if they want to take this dream from just a dream. But I married this little boy. So there once was this little boy, and I met him on a bus. So there once was this little boy. I met him on the bus. I called him my nerd. I was being murdered back then and drugged and poisoned very massively. So I didn't have too good of a brain, and I was mostly in and out of life or existence. Or I'd have a childish brain or be really foggy, and it went all over the place. So like I was kind of childlike that day, and that was my nerd. And he said he was old enough to go to a casino, so he was old enough to be my boyfriend or my husband. And he was going to be my boyfriend, husband, and the nerd. And I wanted to be married to him so bad. It was the greatest dead retarded dream I ever known. So I replicated him. I used my powers and I replicated his existence, and I took him home. And I lived a whole marriage and a whole life with his replicated spiritual self. I've told him the truth so that if he does ever meet gods or meet his other self, he doesn't feel weird about it. So I made a copy of this poor nerd. And his ideal dream wife looks like a lamp. I look like a lamp. My body looks like a pole. So, like, I don't know how else to explain it. If I'm standing straight, people laugh and say, oh my gosh, you do look like a lamp. And I do a lot of promotions for things and it's. There are spirits, entities, there are light existences where they just look like light and they exist and they don't have a body or a face or anything. And then there are things called these things and it's that they just look like a house or a lamp, but they're actually alive and they like to not have language and just look like whatever they decide is them, which could be, anything. A door, because they feel they are the spiritual way, so I use that look to promote things that I believe in. But I look like a lamp. And when I walk, it looks like two poles are like legs. It looks like two poles that can bend. But when I stand straight, it's like my legs that are two poles turn into like one pole just standing there. And my mother, so I obviously was a daughter that had to pretend to be a daughter to win this end of the world. And I still love my mom, so I still keep that look and call her mom. My mom loves to dress me up in these really poofy hats. So that the hats are very big and poofy. And it looks like the top of a lamp. These hats that my mother's so in love with these hats. And I guess they look like, big fancy people's hats. They always are fluffy. They're big and fluffy. And it looks like what you would put on top of your lamp that's all fluffy and pretty on top. Like if you had, the lamp, the thing that goes on top of your lamp, if you could buy weird fluffy stuff and put it all around it, it would look kind of cute and pretty. Well, my mom likes those kind of hats. So I have a little face and a big poofy hat, all these big poofy hats all the time. And she likes to know when I wear big poofy dresses. But when I wear these big poofy dresses, it just looks like a lamp at the top with a pretty little covering at the top part of the lamp, and then the little poster pole when I just stand straight. And it's very weird. And guess what our children look like? Our children look very, very similar. Very, very similar. Very similar. And like a typical man, the nerd wanted my chest area to be way too big. So just think of a lamp with a chest area that's way, way, way too big. One, you'd sit there like, how could that even be? Well, my mom figured it out, but holy manoli, you have got to go to my queen and see what that looks like. It's like, I look really weird, but I hang out with things and it's like it's nothing, and people got used to the way I look, so they don't really care, but it looks very weird. But I can walk around happy because my husband's happy. It was his dream. It was one of his dream looks. He's got two wife looks. So I replicated that nerd's spiritual self, and I married him, and we have two looks. So there's a look where he looks like a weird, long, skinny alien. So he looks like a weird, long, skinny alien, and he likes that look. And then the one that likes the lamp lady wife, he looks like a weird ghetto gangster nerd. And it's very cute. It's a very cute, cool look. So what do I want to be with my husband's down here? Well, I don't know. And that's the point. So I let my husband's kind of pick. And, when it's really, really important for the symbolism or the message of God to be understood, then I pick how I look or whatever. But when it's not that important, it's kind of fun. The children of God could really get into a lot of this. Because what about when the children of God go to the island? When the children of God go to the island, they get to look like anything too. When the husbands go to the island, they get to transform and look like anything too. what are they going to want to look like? And then, like, I can look like anything, but I'm a female, so now they need to hang out with males and all the different kind of things that a male would want to look like for symbolism or to influence people or to make people excited that God has won or, things like that. But it starts by visiting my husbands that have won and are truly perfect enough and going from there. But yeah, I suggest you guys go to My Queen and pick out all your dream looks, all your dream stuff, just so you guys know. Or just kind of look over everything before you guys get there so you guys know what you guys would want.